Coach's Corner is presented by Roanoke Valley Harley Davidson. Stop by their store on Peters Creek Road for new and used motorcycles, service and repair, along with Harley Davidson clothing and collectibles.
Hello and welcome in to another episode of Coach's Corner. I'm Mitch Stewart, and this morning I'm joined by Rally Dawgs head coach Dan Bremner. Dan, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, you got it, Mitch.
Absolutely. Let's roll into kind of the first month of the season that we've had. The best start in franchise history, 5-1-2 so far through the first 4 weekends of the year. I'm just kind of curious to hear your thoughts on kind of what you thought about your team through this first month of the season, getting out to a good start, getting some good results.
Hard to be upset about a 5-1-2 start. But when we look at it, I think a lot of our wins, our points right now, are games that we don't feel we've been playing our best hockey. It's to be expected. Start of season a little bit sloppy here and there within a system, but we've definitely given up more than we would have liked over the start of the season. I think it's a testament to our experience. Having these vets come back that know how to win games, and even when we're not playing our best, our guys are showing up in the right moments and getting the job done. But it's something that we know, and especially heading forward here with better and better competition, that we know we need to tighten some things up, and just getting to closer to mid-season form as quickly as possible.
Taking a look back at this past weekend, let's start with Friday night down in Huntsville. You guys get an awesome performance from Austin Rodebush in net, but took the offense a little bit too long to kind of get going in that game. You do tie the game late and get it into overtime, but you eventually fall in the shootout. What do you think kind of contributed to some of those challenges that you all faced on Friday and some of these games early on in the season at the offensive end of the ice?
Well, first, like you said, Rodebush was incredible that night. He played unbelievable. One goal that, looking at video, it was technically offside by about a foot or two. But it looked like a little bit of just a pause that nobody knew what was going on. It was a little strange, that goal, but other than that, he was so sharp that night. As far as our offense, it seems to be coming in waves. You think of the period 3 at home against Pensacola, where he exploded for 4 in 5 minutes, and then on the other side of it, at times it seems like we're peppering the net, and we're just not getting one to go. And I think it's a little bit of urgency on our part, and net front urgency. Sometimes we're getting these shots in, but there's no traffic. Goalies are unbelievable this year across the league. You look at Pensacola signing a kid that played a game in the NHL, played for the Detroit Red Wings. It's pretty wild to see. So you're not going to beat too many goalies without a good screen, without a rebound opportunity, and I think we're limiting our chances by shooting one and done. We're looking for that top shelf goal, and it's getting corralled. Either it's going out of play, or they're getting it with their glove and it's done. We're going to have to rely on some greasy goals throughout the season.
You were able to get that point on Friday night, and a bit of a tough travel schedule. You have to come all the way back home to play the Macon Mayhem the next night here in Roanoke, and that night it was more kind of about leaning on your defense again, but the offense comes up in some big moments in that game. You get that go-ahead power play goal in the second period, and then, of course, Xavier Filion with that game winner in overtime. You've been able to lean on your defense to get some of these results early in the year. What do you think has kind of been key to having that strong, stingy defensive performance night in and night out? Oftentimes you did the same last year, and it's been the same this season.
Yeah, and again, kind of a drought of offense. We had some chances for sure, but they didn't go. You look at our top D, and they're performing really, really well. But Matty O'Day, Alvo, we got Pepe and Roach that have kind of been the staples back there as our top 4. And it's crazy because we're sitting with a couple of guys that we really want in our lineup that are a little banged up right now, with Leonard and Valerian that are huge back there for us. So the fact that they're carrying the weight just with the 4 of them, with the other guys rotating in. Norwinski had a great first weekend. Says something about them, and they're doing a hell of a job. And we obviously want to make sure that our forwards start pulling their weight a little bit and start putting some more numbers up, so it's a little bit of an easier job for that back end. But they're bought in, and they continue to show why they were so valuable down the stretch last year for us.
You mentioned just some of those defensemen that have been really strong for you. Brendan Pepe got off to a really strong start to this season. It felt like he ended last year on a tear where he was really improving down the stretch and becoming kind of a go-to lockdown guy for you on the back end. what have you thought about his progression from the end of last season into the start of this season as he continues to perform at a high level?
Yeah, I think last year was a huge learning curve for him. It took a long time to really adjust to the pro game, but yeah, down the stretch he was top 2, top 3 for us. Eating a lot of minutes and up and down the ice too. Absolutely locked down. He's a good defender, great stick on him, long body, good reach. But he likes to get up in the play too. He's got some great creativity. He makes it look effortlessly as his skating up and down the ice. It doesn't look like he's really working too hard, but he's cruising up and down, and he's able to get up into offensive plays and then still has the ability to get back. So seeing him take that step, I think he's picking up right where he left off, and I think he's got a really high ceiling.
There's some new faces here in the Roanoke lineup, a lot of returning guys from the core of last season's team and even prior seasons before that, but you don't have to go one by one through this new group of players that have come in through this first month that have been contributing, but how content have you been in kind of what they've been able to bring to the table and been able to contribute to this group?
Yeah, they're all bringing different aspects to the table. Obviously, we saw Billy Roche last year and knew what he had, and we were excited to get him back. We identified a need down the stretch, in particular at center, and Brandon McDade and Bruno Kreis, they've been great in the middle. They both bring different aspects to the game. They both need to work on different aspects of the game, but that definitely solidified up the middle, and they've been strong on face-offs, and they've been good defenders, and obviously playing the offensive zone as well. Fillion came in, and I think making the jump straight from junior camp was a little tentative and needed to find out what it meant to be a pro in that compete level and battle level. But every single day he showed more and more and more. And then obviously, as he got going into game situation too, he's only gotten better. And I think again, he's got a high ceiling. I think he can only get better from here.
This weekend, you go and take on the Peoria Rivermen, the only team in the league that has yet to lose in regulation so far this season. Of course, a lot of history between the franchises and a lot of individuals on either side between the two squads. What are you kind of expecting on this long trip out to Peoria? A good test for you guys here early on in the season.
Yeah, I think I think both teams can say that they want to be playing better at times. It's early in the season. Both have little sloppy tendencies early, but they're undefeated in regulation, so I'm sure they're not too upset about their record. But I think it'll be an elevated game all the way around. Emotions, intensity. I think you'll see something close to playoff hockey all weekend long. There's some bad blood. There's connections all over the place there. And we love the test. I say it every year. I wish we played them more. And it might hurt a record, it might whatever. But they always compete so hard, and they have great details and habits. So it only makes you better. It only makes you better to play a team that's consistently pushing you. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great test.
Well, Dan, hoping for 2 great games this weekend. Best of luck to you all.
Thanks, Mitch.
That's going to do it for this episode of Coach's Corner. The Rail Yard Dawgs on the road this weekend to take on the Peoria Rivermen on Friday and Saturday night. You can find those games on the Haley Toyota Rail Yard Dawgs Hockey Network. And then, of course, Roanoke back at home next Wednesday and Friday, sandwiching Thanksgiving as they'll take on the Huntsville Havoc and the Fayetteville Marksmen. That's going to do it for this episode. We thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you have a great rest of your day.